In 1964, British Kenyan paleoanthropologist Louis Leakey, actually LSB Leakey should be the greatest name in the study of biological as well as cultural evolution. He was doing sincerely for 17 long years, did not get a meaningful fossil. But once he started, he got dumb kilos of them. And the longest fieldwork by a single individual, it is Goodall's. Friends, we had this news yesterday in Indian Express, only in Indian Express from Delhi, and from the news, the paper that published in Nature. Most of the information is already known to the world. Some analysis may require. And this says our ancient ancestors were using bone tools at least 1.5 million years ago, roughly a million years earlier than was previously thought. A study published in Nature. We generally attribute bone tool to Upper Paleolithic. Like in India, we have Machutale Chintamanu in Kurnool district. But in the times of Australopithecus, we have osteodontoceretic culture, the use of bone, teeth, and horns as tools. But making tools from bones, uh, speculated it was, evidence was not there, and it shows the earliest stone tools were 3.3 million years, roughly 3.3 to 3.4 pebble tools were there, again in the times of Australopithecus. And our ancestors were likely using wooden tools just as long ago. The fact is, most probably, the earliest tools must be wooden tools. Simple logic is, it is more difficult to fabricate stone than wood, but just because wood is perishable, and that's why probably we do not have their evidence. For a long time, it was held that the tooth technology was uniquely human trait. Tool technology was unique. The emergence of our genus Homo. However, today there is a consensus about the tools predating Homo and possibly by a lot. Now, this is questionable. Man, the tool maker, subsequently Oakley's research that continues that man has been the only tool maker. That was with respect to culture. We have been debating this question whether the culture belongs to man only. That will depend on how we define culture. But at the same time, we know that chimp and gorilla, they have strong instant memory compared to modern man. Apes are sharper instantly. We have seen from the experiments which have been conducted on chimps vis-a-vis computers. They can easily and quickly recognize compared to man the symbols which are presented to these apes. But anyway, then this Oakley said that man the tool maker. This is again debatable. The question is whether the man is the tool maker or the tool maker is a man. Australopithecus, we call him Pithecus. We have given him the name. The fact is, how can we define human? Still debatable. If you talk about the molecular biologists, they even include chimp and gorilla in hominini, the humans of family, because in chimp, just about 99% of the genes are similar to us. That is not a fully bipedal also, and a very primitive tool maker also. Australopithecus was much more advanced. Ironically, we don't have its DNA, that's why we cannot. But the question is, in layman terms, how can you define a human? Simple way out should be that the individual should be bipedal and the individual should have culture. And Australopithecus had both. And if we still keep calling him as Pithecus, means ape, it is not their fault, it is our fault. Even the people who have suggested name for Australopithecus as Homo africanus, the man of Africa, because all the authentic fossils of Australopithecus have been discovered from Africa alone. That is also a viewpoint. But ironically, I don't think we should accept this viewpoint that man is a tool maker. It should be other way around. Anyone who is a tool maker should be humans. Anyway, then in 1964, British Kenyan paleoanthropologist Louis Leakey, actually LSB Leakey should be the greatest name in the study of biological as well as cultural evolution. He was doing sincerely for 17 long years, did not get a meaningful fossil. But once he started, he got them kilos of them. The things became so interesting. He was there, his wife was there, Leakey, his son was there, Richard Leakey, his wife was there, Leakey. Sorry, the first one was Mary Leakey. Richard, Mary, mother of Richard, and Neve, wife. And even 6.5-year-old grandson was there who got into it. Then proposed, Leakey proposed that a collection of roughly 1.7 million year old fossil discovered at the Old Dubai belong to a new species which they call Homo habilis handyman. This is again a debatable whether it should be Homo habilis or whether it should be an advanced form of Australopithecus africanus only. But the point comes here. Charles Darwin wrote The Descent of Man that chimpanzee in a state of nature crack a native fruit. This is what I told you that they are tool makers. It continued. Darwin had said that chimps they are tool makers. But most important again was Goodall's research. We can easily categorize the longest fieldwork by a single family. It is leakage. And the longest fieldwork by a single individual. It is Goodall's. Both great. Actually, Goodall had gone to Leakey to seek cooperation with respect to the fossil research. And Louis Leakey only, LSB Leakey only suggested that she should work on chimpanzees. And she followed. And again, she had done a great job. And a couple of years ago, she had a museum of chimpanzees, International Museum. Hmm? If chimps could use and make tools, tool use and tool making were not uniquely humans, as was primate studies carried out in the following decades have supported. It's not only supported, Goodall research has been going on all through these years. Even after Goodall's findings, scientists for decades held on to an anthropocentric view of tool technology. Again, the question is tool technology, whether it is human or it is the humans that use tool technology. This is why when paleoanthropologist Donald Johnson in 1974 discovered Lucy, the partial skeleton of 3.2 million years old human ancestor, the small brain species of Australopithecus afarensis. Now this discovery was very interesting. Johansson and Mary Leakey and others, they were a team. At places it is written Mariliki discovered at places it is written Johansson. But name is interesting. The name is Lucy. Actually, nowadays there were two very famous bands, Boney M and Beatles. And Johansson was a fan of Beatles. And a new video cassette has come. The name of the cassette was Lucy. And they are in the habit of having unique names like they had Fabulous. Similarly, they wanted to put some name which is very unique. And just because he was so impressed by the video, they named it Lucy. Francis, because name of the place is Afar, where it was discovered. And it is not partial, 3.2 million years old. At that time, Lucy was considered the oldest, almost complete fossil of human ancestors, bearing the evidence of bipedalism. If you have seen the photographs of Lucy, actually we have discovered about 40% of the skeleton of Lucy. But interestingly, what we have discovered of the right, not of the left. And what of the left? Not of the right. And just because our body is bilaterally symmetrical, so that 40% becomes almost 80%. So it is not partial, it is almost complete, we should say. Hmm? Lucy predated the earliest available stone tools at the time by more than 1.5 million years. At that time, the last Homo erectus that was considered 1 million years old, maybe slightly earlier. Then, by anthropological Mary Marx in 83 concluded, according to an article in the Scientific American, that the type of grip that Lucy and her kind may have had used could enable it to manipulate stone tools to perform tasks such as cutting meat. Again, this is typically human feature. The difference between ape and human grip is that ape have strong power grip, humans have strong precision grip. And this precision grip was present there, and then it is typically human. Again, the question arises how long we will deny the status of human to Australopithecus. While it is impossible to determine an exact date, the latest evidence based on the analysis of living primates suggests that even the last common ancestor of all great apes, some 13 million years ago, had precision dexterity and used tools. The article in Scientific American said dexterity was there 13 million years ago. We have evidence from 6 and 7 million years ago from Sahelanthropus and from Lufenpithecus. That is there. We do have fossils of about 9 million years having this facility. But the question is, by this kind of research, the field becomes more open. The discussion should be more open to decide the fate of human evolution. I should welcome this research, but it speaks less, raises more questions. I think we should discuss. Thank you.